So Halloween's nearly here, so we're going to check out some scary games on the Nintendo Switch. Hang on a second. Ah! So welcome back to 128KB, Andy here, and yes, we're going to be checking out some scary games on the Nintendo Switch. But if you haven't seen them already, go and check out our array of videos about the Nintendo Switch OLED and loads of different stuff as well. And check out our website 128KB, go down there, smash that like and subscribe button because it really helps us out as a small channel. We're going to be talking about my favorite games on the Switch that are appropriate for this time of the year, which is of course Halloween. So number one is Luigi's Mansion 3. So this game is amazing. It's not a true horror game as such, but it's kind of like a light-hearted horror game. It's absolutely fantastic. It really is. If you haven't played Luigi's Mansion 1 on the GameCube or the remake on the 3DS, then I highly recommend checking out that as well. You can play number 2 on the 3DS as well, but number 3 came to the Switch, I think in 2018, and it's absolutely great. The visuals just look insane, and again, it's a perfect game for the Switch OLED because of that OLED screen where it really makes all the sort of blacks nice and dark because it turns the pixels off, so it punches through all the colors, and that added contrast really helps to make all these games that I'm going to talk about today look extra good on the OLED. But of course, it will look good on any Switch that you've got, whether that's a Switch Lite or a normal Switch, or if you're playing it on a telly as well. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a fantastic game. You go up through stages, so it is pretty much a mansion. It's more of like a hotel, and you go from floor to floor, unlocking each level with secrets to find. There's all sorts of stuff, but it's just so nice to play the game. And you do have Luigi's Gooigi, so it is 2-player co-op, and once you get Gooigi, you can pretty much play the entire game 2-player, which is brilliant. So me and Christina have been playing that in the past. I currently don't have it at the minute, so you won't be seeing some gameplay because we lent it to a family member, but of course you'll be seeing the trailer. Next up is Pumpkin Jack. Now this is a sort of hark back to like retro style, well I say retro, not really retro, sort of early 2000s platformers, but it looks really, really nice. I love the art style. It's very reminiscent of something like medieval mixed with a bit of sort of Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas, because of course Jack Skellington is the Pumpkin King. You can see the inspiration here is heavily on that, but the gameplay is really nice. It's a platformer. Again, it's not a super scary horror game, but it's definitely one that's going to be really good to play this Halloween. It's really fluid. The gameplay's fun. There's plenty of good stuff to see. There's some really nice quirks in the game that I really enjoyed as well, and I will be revisiting this year. So next on our list is a bit more scary, and that is Project Zero, Maiden of Blackwater, or Fatal Frame. So it can either be Project Zero or Fatal Frame, depending on whether you're in America or the EU or Japan or whatever. Now this game originally came out in 2014 on the Wii U, but at the time I didn't actually have a Wii U, so I haven't played this game yet, but it does launch very close to Halloween. So I think it releases on the Thursday just before. So I'm really excited to get my hands on this one because I'm a big fan of the series. I just think it looks really good. I haven't played it, of course, because we haven't got an early copy or anything like that, but if you're aware of the sort of series of games, then you know what you're getting into. It is more of a horror inspired game where you pretty much don't have weapons. You've got a camera and you've got to take pictures of ghosts and stuff like that. I'm not going to like go really in depth with it and spoil it for anyone, but this looks like a brilliant game to be playing this Halloween, and I certainly am going to pick it up. It's just a little bit sad because it's only available on the eStore for download. So if you go to the eStore right now, you can actually pre-order it and then it will be ready for when it launches. But as a physical collector, when possible, I would have rather have had the physical copy, but as such, like as far as right now, there is no physical copy planned. Now the next two games I'm going to sort of put into one section because it's just a sequel. Like there's two games. So that is Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2. Now we've played both of these and they are really, really good games. Little Nightmares 1 we kind of got to after the hype. So we probably played this maybe 2 years ago, something like that. and it blew my mind. This is a sort of more scary platforming style game. It is really, really good. It gets you on your toes, it gets your heart racing. It's just a fun puzzle game, and the art style and everything is super creepy. The music is fantastic. The storyline is really, really good. But I would say it is quite difficult. Maybe it was just because I was so scared that, you know, I kind of made it more difficult for myself. But I really recommend to check out Little Nightmares 1, and especially number 2, which has come out within the past sort of year, I think it was. We've got it physically on the Switch. We've got the first one digitally and then the second one physically, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But those two games, Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2, are very, very good, and they are perfect for this Halloween. So if you want to get your heart racing a little bit and dive into some puzzles, then this is definitely the game for you. But yeah, it is a little bit more on the scary side when you compare it to something like Luigi's Mansion. Now, the next series of games are some of my all-time favorite games across any platform. I've been playing them since I was really tiny, so I was really scared all the way from then until now, and they've pretty much all come to Nintendo Switch bar 2, which is really weird. There's 2 games that are not on the Switch, which is really sad. But anyway, that's the Resident Evil franchise. So you can get Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, you can't get 2 or 3, sadly, but you can get 4, 5, 6, you can't get 7 or 8 either, which I've only just remembered as I'm saying it now, but you can get Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 as well. So all of them that are available on Switch, I highly recommend to check them out. My personal favorites are probably Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 4 as well. I am a big fan of the Resident Evil Revelations series, like the 2 games there, but I've only played Resident Evil Revelations 1 on the 3DS. I haven't actually played the Switch version, but we have played through number 2, so Revelations 2 on the Switch, and that is co-op, which is really nice. The co-op games are Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, and Revelations 2. The rest of them are single player games, but these are brilliant. If you know anything about Resident Evil, they're pretty much zombie inspired horror games. Not all of them specifically have zombies in them. Some of them, like Resident Evil 4, have more of like a parasite that makes people a bit crazy and stuff, but these are well known within the sort of horror franchise of games, and I highly recommend to check out pretty much any of these games. But Resident Evil 4 for me is one of my favorites, but they're all brilliant. There's plenty of puzzles in each game, but these are really good games to dive into this Halloween. Now, another game which is really nice, which is a puzzle platformer, it's a side-scrolling sort of 2D styled game, is Limbo. And this is really nice. It's quite sad, but it's really good in terms of the gameplay and the immersion. It was one of those games that once we started playing, we just didn't stop until we finished it. It was, you know, we just got sucked in, we wanted to go. There is lots of puzzles and stuff like that going on, but it's the art style really that really drew me in. And again, the controls and everything are brilliant. But yeah, this really compelled us to go and play the other game that the company released, which is Inside. So you've got Limbo and Inside. There's 2 totally different games, but I highly recommend to check both of those out this Halloween because they are really fun. Now, I'll just go through some honourable mentions. I'm going to cheat and use my phone because I've made some notes here. So I would highly recommend to check out Outlast as well. That is definitely one that will get your heart going because it's quite intense once you start getting into it. There's much more of a horror game, that one. Then you've got Amnesia. I haven't actually played that one on Switch, but I have played it on the PC. You've also got Alien Isolation. If you're a fan of the Alien series with the xenomorphs, then definitely check that one out. And Layer of Fear as well. We have that one on Switch, but I've never played it. But that's why it's an honourable mention, because loads of people love that game. So there's my Switch games that I recommend to play this Halloween. Now, I'm sure I've missed out some. So if you've got some favourite horror games or just favourite Halloween inspired games that would be appropriate, then let us know down in the comments, because I'd love to see what your favourite games are to play at this time of the year, or just what your favourite scary games are, or if you're not even into scary games. But if you're not into scary games, well, then there's some games that I've mentioned like Pumpkin Jack or even Luigi's Mansion 3, which aren't really true horror games. They're just fun, sort of spooky games, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you go down there, like and subscribe, because it really does help us out. Check out our website, 128kb.co.uk. I'm Andy, I'll see you in the next one. See you later.